Hey, what's happening? A Drink with Derek here with one of, hands down, the funniest people that I ever have a chance to work with or see, Jimmy Shubert, who has a special called Zero Tolerance, which you can get all over the place. Go to his website, jimmyshubert.com. Dude, great to talk to you. Great to see you. How you been?
Hey, great to talk to you. On a side note, before we get started, on May 15th, I got a new album dropping out. That's also named Zero Tolerance. You know, I recorded on a Friday night, but that'll be available on iTunes across all platforms. May 15th at 12
May 15th.
midnight.
Get
it's
it.
dropping. So that's
Nice.
a good thing. People can go, but I'll put an announcement up on my website and everything too. They can go to jimmyshubert.com.
No, absolutely.
Hey, it's great to see you, my friend.
How you
We've known
been?
each other a long, long time.
Long ass time. It's got to be easily 20 years, if that.
Easily.
Something like that. Crazy
Back when
stuff,
you were
man.
down in Florida working, we were both moved to Florida because there's so much work down there, and you were we were working at Comedy Corner up there, and I mean, it's great. Tampa, yeah.
Down at Fort Lauderdale, Davie, Florida. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've been around, bro.
Good times, man.
We've worked there.
Yeah, what's that?
I said, if they speak English, we've worked there.
And if they don't speak English, we probably picked up a gig there anyway because we needed the money. Dude, you've been at this a long ass time. You worked. I saw you years and years ago. I think you and I probably talked about this. It's got to be late 80s when you were touring with Kinison.
Yeah, that was well, no, it was like 88, 89, 90, 91, 92.
Yeah, because I saw Sam Kinison in East Lansing at Michigan State University, and you were on the show because I remember seeing you and then meeting you years later when I had started doing this, and I'm like, this is the guy that I saw who was working with.
Dude, I had a mullet then. I had this like rock and roll hair. I was a baby, man. I was like 24, 25.
It's insane.
It was insane. But you know, great thing is that I got to tour with one of the most controversial comedians in America at the time. And I have to tell you, man, I mean, there's really nobody like, you know, Kinison. I mean, not even today. I mean, the guy was just a beast of a comic, and I got to watch him, got to watch his process, got to watch, and he had one. You know, I know there was a lot of drugs and drinking, but, you know, he certainly, definitely had a process. He was really smart. I got to talk to him about comedy off stage. Me and Mark Maron, believe it or not, would go up we lived in Crest Hill, that place behind the Comedy Store.
Right.
And Sam would come up there after hours and, you know, bring some, you know, booger sugar and some Jack Daniels, and then they would sit around the long table. And me and Mark were always the ones talking about comedy and about what, you know, how to get better and stuff like that. So, interesting. I don't think you could do that today. You know, it was a different time period. Today, you really have to get up and work your ass off. There's no, I mean, you can't, like, even having a couple drinks, like, sets you back, you know? I mean, you lose the next day, but you got to get up and work. This is a full-time job now.
No,
I remember weekends you sleep till 2, get up, burp and fart, go back to bed, wake up before the show.
Oh, man, you got to be on your Twitter. You got to be on Facebook, Instagram, posting videos and doing all this stuff. And, it's a whole different time now. Now, you met Sam back when you were working at the Comedy Store, correct? When you were
I was a doorman there. I was a doorman at the Comedy Store because, like, in my head, I was going, like, I just wanted to do, my advantage was that I knew what I wanted to do when I was real, like, 9 or 10.
Right.
I mean, I love Charlie Chaplin. I wanted to do what Charlie Chaplin was, like, making people laugh. I remember coming back from church, I was crying because I couldn't grow a little toothbrush mustache and dye my hair black. My mom would say, "No, I wanted to be Charlie Chaplin." And then I got into magic.
When you came back from church, you were crying?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be Charlie Chaplin. They wouldn't let me do it, so I remember they always teased me about it. But then I get into magic. But yeah, when I left, I mean, I was just waiting to turn 18 so I could just go to the comedy clubs. But I took up magic just to be able to perform, knowing that when I did start doing stand-up, I would have performance chops, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how, like, my mind was working. And then as soon as I was able to, I worked that whole summer. I saved about 15 grand, and I jump in my car, and I just drive to Los Angeles. And I was listening to these, like, positive mental attitude. I had Tony, it was a guy named Dr. Dennis Waitley, The Psychology of Winning. And I listened to his tapes over and over on the way out. And literally, I got to LA 2 weeks. I started a job. I moved into my place. I showcased for Mitzi at the Comedy Store. Now, I didn't get past right away, but there was an opportunity to become a doorman. And that was like a year after Andy Kaufman's death.
Right.
Tony Clifton, this character that he used to do, was appearing in the main room. And everybody thought, oh, shit, Andy's going to reveal the joke. He's been playing a joke with everybody. He didn't really die, you know. And Tony Clifton, his buddy, who he had passed the character along, did it as a joke. And it was horrible. Comes out, throws a drink on someone, flicks a lit cigarette at somebody. Everybody, next thing you know, people are rushing towards the exit. It was like, welcome to the Comedy Store. But it was great that he did that. But I mean, he was with Angeline, that, you know, big-breasted, blonde nutbag that she's famous for absolutely no fucking reason at all. She drives around a pink Corvette. I mean, that's Los Angeles for you. But that's who Tony Clifton showed up with. So there were cameras there. And that was the first night I started working there as a doorman. And then that became my long journey. But I'll tell you, the greatest thing to me, that was like my college. I got to watch the best comedians in the country at the time. And it was a who's who. Andrew Dice Clay, Sam Kinison, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, Gary Shandling, you know, just Louis Anderson.
Right.
It was a whole list of who's who that were, and you can watch and learn about comedy from shitty comedians, and you can watch and learn from the best comedians. And even in my head, I was trying to, what are eight things like the best comedians have in common? What's 8 things they do?
Right.
And I was just studying it like a science. I mean, you know, now.
Well, you have to. If you're going to watch, if you're going to be a baseball player, you're going to watch videos of Ted Williams, of Barry Bonds, of Derek Jeter. I mean, yeah.
You know, it's funny. You know, we both are friends with Brad Garrett. We work his comedy club there. I saw Brad when I was opening for Sam. We had an off night. We were at the Dunes like 3 weeks. We were in Vegas, 3 weeks. And Frank Sinatra was appearing. And this, you know, this month, actually, April 10th, will be 28 years since Sam Kinison has been dead. 28. I mean,
wow.
That's amazing. 28 years this year.
I can't believe
we had an off night.
Wow.
And not to date me or Brad, we went to, I think it was the Desert Inn. We had a great booth. And Brad Garrett opened for Frank Sinatra. And it was amazing. And you know, he would do his Sammy Davis Jr., but he's 6'9", so we'd have to hunch over. Like, I mean, I remember it. It was amazing. I mean, we talk about an amazing career. Brad Garrett's had an amazing career, man. I mean, that's where I saw him. And now he's had a, you know, career in television for like 30 years.
Oh, yeah. It's insane. Well, you went to L.A. from Philadelphia, correct?
Yeah, I literally was doing comedy in Philly at a couple of knock-around clubs down there.
Now, you're a huge sports fan, Philadelphia sports fans. Are they, as they're viewed from around the country, are they just raving sports fans, or are they complete lunatic douchebags?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. You know, there's a lot of cities that have that element. You know, in Philadelphia, like they're inner city rednecks, and they're like two-streeters. What we call them. We call them. My brother calls them Philbillies. Like they're from the inner city, but they act like hillbillies. He calls them Philbillies. You know, they're all two-streeters.
I love that.
You know, the mummers. And then it's just like parade that happens once every year. Those are the people. They're literally out of their minds. You know, there's a part of Philly called God's Pocket. You don't ever want to go in there. You won't make it out. It's like, you know, but there's that element. I mean, they have a jail. They have a judge. You know, they lock you up at the stadium. You got to sit in jail, and the judge will hear you Monday. You know, look, it is what it is. People in Philly got a chip on their shoulder. I don't know what to tell you. We love our sports teams. It's a great city. It's got great food.
Yes,
it
does.
Got great culture. All the art museums are there. It's got you know, at one point it was the nation's first capital. I mean, that's where the District of Finance sat. That's where the government sat. And then, you know, finance went to New York, government went to Washington. Everybody in Philly went, what the fuck's the matter with us? And that's why they got a chip on their shoulder. And people say, oh, you booed Santa Claus. I go, first off, let's clear this up. On the incident that happened, that was December 15th. Santa Claus is only Santa Claus one day a year. That day, he was just a fat guy in a red suit rooting for the wrong team. All right? That's what he was. He wasn't Santa Claus. No, but hey, dude, I've been booed. I've been booed in Philly. Like we did an Opie and Anthony show, and it was an amazing show.
Right.
You know, it was like a who's who. It was like Tracy Morgan, Rich Voss, Robert Kelly, Ralphie May, Dom Irera, Jimmy Norton, Bill Burr. I'm probably Bob Saget. I may be leaving a couple people out, but it was a who, and they booed like everybody. That was a legendary show where Bill Burr
snapped on the crowd after they had booed Dom Irera.
He handled it brilliantly. And I'm sitting on the side of the stage with Dom, and they booed me. I was like the first guy they booed. I just pretended like I was killing and said, thank you, good night, and got out there. But they started booing Dom. I mean, they booed everybody. They started booing like Saget. And we're all from Philly, like in Philly. They were like, really? And so, you know, I mean, but also once that happens to you, there is absolutely nothing you can do to me on stage that's going to faze me.
No, you get an insanely thick.
You know what it's like? It's like in Kung Fu where the guy could lift the kettle and move it, then he could leave the temple. That's like, you know, but that's Philadelphia for you in a nutshell. You know, that's it. That's the kind of look. I love the city. Don't get me wrong. Really, I love growing up there. I mean, you know, Philadelphia's a tough town. You know, I got more fights inside my house than out on the street, and then I got a couple out on the street. I used my hands so much as a kid. I was 5 before I realized I had fingers. You know what I mean? Anyway,
you're Irish from Philly. Of course, that's gonna happen.
I got 6 brothers. I grew up in a house with 6 brothers. My old man was a homicide detective, bro. I swear to God, you say what you want, but it was like growing up with Lieutenant Columbo. Because my dad was like a kind of a goofy-looking dude. But if you think you want to steal $20 out of his sock drawer and go buy some baseball cards and get away with it, you were mistaken, bro. You know, because we'll walk around, me and a couple of my brothers, chewing bubble gum. Yeah, where'd you get the money to buy those? Huh? Because I was 20 for my sock drawer. My dad would break down murderers and rapists, and me and my brothers think, yeah, we're going to get away with stealing 20. Because you have 6 kids. You know where every nickel's going, you know?
So, you're all fingerprinted. He's got a database, right?
Yeah, you're right.
He'll figure it out.
Funny. My old man, back when my old man was like they didn't have like you watch these cop shows with the CIA database.
Sure.
They didn't have any of that.
No. There's no DNA.
Old-fashioned, old-style police work. And man, you know, my dad, you know, in an effort to educate me and teach me about things, he would let me listen, like he would wear a wire. And he would let me listen to conversations, like he would, like, you know, try to get information out of junkies and stuff like that. And he would let me listen to it. And he would tell me, you know, like psychologically what he was trying to do.
Right.
And also that, you know, maybe like 45 minutes later, he was in the vice president of Coca-Cola's office. And he would meet that guy. Like he would meet these people at their levels.
Right.
And not like judge and just kind of, you know, adapt. And so he's like, it was interesting going up with it because he would leave the crime scene photos right on the dining room table. You're coming down.
Well,
you're coming down to get
fun. That's fun.
Coming down to get some Captain Crunch, and there's a photo shoot of a guy who blew his head off with a shotgun. All that's there is the freaking, you know, the bottom of his head. Hey, how you doing, kids? You know, I always think there's a story about the. It's funny the like my bedtime stories from Philadelphia about they found a severed human head, and you know, they found it. A septic driver found it because it was all wrapped in Christmas packages. He thought someone left Christmas packages, and he goes in and he's digging through it, and his freaking head pops out and rolls down the bed. Ah! The guy freaks out, calls the cops. The cops take the head, they put it in the back of the paddy wagon. People walk by. Anybody, does this look familiar? People just busting balls. You know? It wasn't like you know. And anyway, kids, later on we found a body down at the city dump that didn't have a head, and of course we put them together. We were trying to find out who the guy was. We went down to the methadone clinic. Does this guy look familiar? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, that looked like Leroy. But last time I saw him, he was a hell of a lot taller than that, you know. And so, anyway, kids, that's the story of Headless Pips. You guys sleep tight. stories from bedtime stories from Philadelphia police detective.
That's I love that. What I mean, you've had so many shows that you've been on, Comedy Central, a bunch of stuff. I mean, obviously TV, other sitcoms and movies. You were on Last Comic Standing a couple years ago.
Yeah.
What do people not know about that show?
Well,
the common viewer who watches that thing, because I think you're hilarious, and you finished outside. You finished outside. I think was it like the top?
No, I was a finalist.
You were a finalist. Okay.
I finished like 8th.
Right.
Well, first off, number one, it's not really about finding the funniest comic. That's not what they're looking for. I'm not going to really throw the show under the bus because it's responsible for launching a lot of people's careers.
No. Exactly.
So I like that, but it is a reality show.
Right.
And so you're standing around on sets with cameras on you, 12, 13 hours a day. They're late ordering lunch because they want you hungry and kind of angry. They want you hangry. They want you standing around. They want drama. You know what I mean? And comics are. We're just standing around busting balls until they want drama and pitting people against each other and all that stuff. And so it has that element to it. Now, I've always thought that you could really remake Last Comic Standing and make it really great. And the way to do that, because a stand-up comedian's life is infinitely more interesting than you pretend it is. I'm never going to be in Bed Bath & Beyond with Carrot Top having to do a speed shop and build an act from props. That's never going to happen in my life. But, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like they should, like one of the challenges is you should come up with an idea for a sitcom. And in this challenge, you're going to go in and pitch it to some sitcom writers. And then they're going to decide who wins the challenge or whose show they would do. Right. And the winner of that challenge would then fly on a chopper or a Learjet to Vegas and then go entertain 600 liquor reps for Kettle One vodka. And this, you could really do it like the Celebrity Apprentice, and it would be killer. Like, which charities are you playing for? I mean, look, you don't have to make shit up. And comedy is an interesting life. You don't have to cheapen it. I'm not a fucking clown in the plainclothes division. All right. I'm a really fucking talented, gifted fucking writer. And so you could make the challenges a little more. I don't have to be a tour guide at fucking Universal. Give me something that allows me to use my skill set. And so, I mean, look, anything that promotes comedy, and believe me, that show has launched careers and made careers. And
absolutely.
So I applaud it. I mean, it's the only thing like that on television that gives comedians a real like opportunity. And I have to tell you, the summer before that, I was struggling to get work. The summertime's tough. It was really, but after that, man, it really kind of reinvigorated my career. You know what I mean? There was a girl named Zainab Johnson who was really, I thought, really terrific, really funny. She was a semifinalist, but when I went out on the road afterwards, I grabbed her and brought her with me we did that almost for like a year, and she would help out. It was like kind of like a mini Last Comic Standing thing. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, it really brought in, it was great. It was a fun experience. So I was able to help her out. I helped myself out. My agent wound up signing her. So I thought that was great.
Good.
And rightfully so. She's really talented.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just watch it, the common viewer, and so many people just seem to think that these reality shows are legitimate reality shows. And you're right. I think when you try to recreate or manufacture drama amongst comedians, or you try to recreate the banter that comedians have, like after shows, like you and I sitting around in the bar having a couple of cocktails, and then they go, and then a network says, "Oh, let's take this and redo it." And okay, here now the cameras are on. Okay, and now you guys go ahead and go.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say, I think, it really does teach you how to be a pro. Because you're right. There's cameras there. You got to hit your mark. Got to be ready to go. Right. I learned that from being on sets as well. It's like the toughest thing I had to work on doing was being a complete professional. Like, because I was a goofball and a knucklehead. But I mean, being a real pro. Like somebody who's ready to go. You don't got to tell me. you ask me the acts printed up and written up. It's in there. It's emailed in. You had to send your sets in like 3 weeks in advance, so it go through legal and all that stuff. I mean, those kinds of things. Listen, these people are spending a lot of money. They want You got to be a professional,
right?
Despite all the other stuff, you got to be a professional, whether it's on a movie set or so. I'm really incredibly blessed, and especially having to deal with what we've had to deal with the COVID-19 and some people are locked down, is that I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and just how incredibly lucky I am to have lived this amazing life with all these amazing experiences and traveling around the world and entertaining our troops in Afghanistan with Drew Carey, and doing some of these welfare, morale, recreation tours for groups in Korea, and armed forces entertainment, and also being in movies and television and traveling all around the United States like 15, 20 times. It's just been you know what, man, I'm just so thankful. And that's my thing, is that I'm just thinking about things that I'm so grateful for in my life lately. And certainly that's one of them, that I've had opportunities.
I think everybody going through, when you had the time off that people had during the pandemic, and when you had the time to not do anything, and you're, constantly when we're on the road, you're always thinking about the next gig. You're thinking about what you need to do that day and whatever your obligations are. And so now I think in the situation when people were shut down, it forces your brain. I mean, silence makes your brain work. And I think if you have the mentality that you have, where you go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make the best out of this that I possibly can.
Yeah, dude, I've been walking like 5 miles a day, just doing the 5 miles and just clear. It's so good for my head, but also coming back, and I had this pad and I just start writing and start thinking about stuff, but also, tending to your social media and thinking about ways and what the stuff you're going to do when you come out of this. I'm kind of outlining a book talking about like the Kinison days and days at the Comedy Store, and started working on that. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that just put things in perspective. Yeah, just put things in perspective for you, and you realize that you live in America. It's that granted, some people are struggling. Hopefully, this will all come back. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah, it will. I mean, it's like I said. I think people get out of this, out of what happened with the pandemic. I mean,
I think eventually comedy's going to come roaring back, man. Because people want to hear what comedians have to say about all
people want to laugh
and everything.
People want to laugh. I mean, people are tired of just the of any kind of depressing news all the time that they've heard throughout the entire process of this thing. So yeah, it's been nuts. You've been now. Are you single right now? You dating somebody? What's the Jimmy Shubert love life right now?
I am in a monk-like status.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm not even by myself. I am not interested at 0% in dating anybody. I'm just interested in focusing on and working on me and healing me, because if I ain't healed, I can't bring that and try to find a healthy relationship. I'm just and to tell you the truth, Derek, to be honest, if I could be honest with you, I'm really not interested in it. I mean, like, I don't even, like, people talk about getting married. I go, I don't even get it. 62% end divorce. It's as high as 72%. The fuck am I going to do to myself? I just look. I love my life. I have an amazing life. I do what I want. I have great friends. I go out to dinners. I don't have to, And then, a lot of these women that you meet, they can't cook. They're a dumpster fire for a human being. I don't want you anywhere near my fucking life. I will fucking go. I will jerk off like Miggs from Silence of the Lambs for the rest of my life. You and your fucking mental illness away from my life. That's why the vagina has hair around it to hide the hook. Because once you, I get it. People. I don't want any. Right now, I'm just focusing on myself. I've been trying to be the best version of myself I can be. Because then once you do that, once you really take the best version of yourself and go out there, you will attract what.
Yeah, it's a law. Yeah, laws of attraction.
So when I'm ready, when that happens, I'll go out there with, look, I'm a monster cook. I can make anything. The other day I made pineapple upside down or pancakes with a cherry in the middle, like, you know, to help myself. Like I make chicken carpaiello. You know, I make, you know, I make my own. I can make my own pasta. I can make my own pasta. I make the filling. I take squash and garlic and onions and a couple of. You make your own filling for your raviolis. I mean,
you're a catch.
Which is a brilliant skill set to have in the middle of a pandemic, is being able to cook. You know,
you're a catch. So here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, women are rethinking this whole guys in the skinny jeans thing. Wait, he can hunt, he can fish, he can cook. He's got a big dick and a loud personality. Yeah, I'll take him. I'll take him.
So here's what I want you to do as we wrap this thing up. I want you to sell yourself to women, to a woman, whatever, as if we were on, this is a dating site, and you got 60 seconds to sell Jimmy Shubert to.
Okay, wait a second. So this isn't for real. This is a sketch. Like if I was.
Yeah. Say you were interested or you really wanted to hook somebody.
Okay.
How would you sell yourself?
So this could be, can I do it like a.
You do it any way you want. You are.
Could I do a spoof version of it? Like,
you can do whatever you want. I've got the I got the shot clock going here right now.
I got to sell myself to women. Okay.
Within 60 seconds or less, sell Jimmy Shubert as if you were a car that a car salesman. What's it going to take for me to get you into Jimmy Shubert?
Okay, ready?
And go.
Hi, my name's Bob. I got a lazy eye, a club foot, really bad halitosis. But the good news is a lot of people think this is a leg. It's actually a penis with a sneaker on it. Listen, I'm into poetry. Poetry. I like football. And I'm an Aries with a penis rising. So if you want some of this, hit me up on the Tinder. It's
about how I would have expected that to go, to be honest with you.
Look, I'm not a I'm going to sell my fucking, hey, you know what? Why don't you sell yourself to me, fucking cupcake? All right, I'm fucking doing fine. I don't need help with my rent. You know what I mean? I don't need my car payment made. Why don't you sell yourself to Uncle Jimmy here? Because I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I know this is going to sound really negative and bad. Look, you're lucky. You're with a woman that you love and care about, and other people get lucky. I haven't. I got a bad picker, bro. My picker's broken. I go right to the dumpster fire. Right to the dumpster fire. She's hot. Uncle Billy molested her. Sure, she'll be great in bed, but I don't want you to move it into my house.
Dude, I love you. JimmyShubert.com. His special Zero Tolerance is available. And the album Zero Tolerance coming out here mid-May. Again, on iTunes. Again, go to Jimmy Shubert's website. Find out when he's in your neighborhood. Dude, you're one of the funniest people that I know. And just a great human being as well, man. I love you. You stay safe and healthy. And see you when you're back out here in Vegas.
Thanks for having me on, bro. I love you too. Be safe. And tell our friends in Vegas we said hey, but be careful, man. And I'll see you soon in person. We'll have a drink, and we'll talk about this, man. Peace out.
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
You're watching Conservative Television of America, working hard to stick socialism where the sun don't shine.